Hey, Real Estate Rockstars, your host Hannah is here. Today we have a part two. It's a second interview with Coach Jess, who is putting together an amazing boot camp for those who are buyer's agents. It might be targeted toward newer agents like you who would like help, advice in the rocky waters of a new real estate game, right? Because of the lawsuit. This is no legal advice, okay? Disclaimer, disclaimer.
Yeah,
But
I am not a lawyer. I did not go to law school, much to the chagrin of my parents, but hey,
yeah, well, same
I'll,
here.
I'll teach you how I did things.
Exactly, because we still need, you know what? The sellers need buyers, buyers need sellers. And in between has to be really strong, good communication, education, and everything else, what you were talking about a couple days ago on our first recording. I'm not sure how much the game has changed now, but at the end, it's an old-fashioned communication, selling. It's a skill we are building. But then also you mentioned something else last time, and it was networking. Can we
Mhm.
talk a little bit more about that? How is that linked together for buyers agents?
So we talked about the whole needing a buyer broker agreement before we even walk through a door, with a client.
Yeah.
But it is, what if you have somebody that like me? What if I was moving from Indiana like I did to Florida and
You
I didn't have an agent?
wait a minute. She actually did it. Okay. So she had to start from scratch. And how was it? Well, that was before COVID, right? That was like,
Yeah, it was like right before COVID.
what were you thinking?
Then I didn't like winter anymore. That was what I was thinking. No, but it's like I was actually thinking about this because this is my 5-year anniversary in Florida. And I was just like, I'm looking around and I could not have done this by myself without having the network of people that I met and that I've made, down here. Heck, it's almost like, well, it is like you can't really do anything across country. You can't have referrals if you don't network.
Okay. How do
So
you network?
that's a tough one because it's different for everybody. Everybody has their own kind of things. Me personally, I have like a board game group that
Oh,
we meet together and everything. And I used to be really involved in like like short films and stuff and like amateur like shooting amateur silly films and everything. And it's you have to go out and meet people, and I used to go to these like real estate conferences, and just the very first time that I did like a big cross country networking thing when I was first starting out, I actually started off online with real estate rock stars and lab code agents and some other Facebook groups out there that are pretty big, and I just started participating. That was how I started.
mhm.
And then I made connections through there. It's like people would post like funny memes, and I would be like, oh, I identify with that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Local networking groups, like even local community groups like on Facebook and everything. Um, I have not started my own local group. I'm about to, but I kind of want to start like kind of like a geeky kind of group around my neck of the woods and everything, because I need some new game players for board games and stuff. I want to make some new friends. But you start there and you just start reaching out. It's very much, especially after COVID, it's getting out of the comfort zone of your PJs and t-shirt and actually getting out and doing stuff again. Which, I mean, in Florida, it's pretty easy because it's beautiful down here.
Come on, you
So
can just go take a walk on the beach and call it networking, right? Go to a coffee shop. By the way, guys, I like remember we were doing some coaching and you were explaining how you would, oh my gosh, that's it. Move it close. Okay, I can't see it. Stop. A little bit back,
Real
a little bit back, a little bit back. You got a little bit back. Oh, wait, stop now. Real estate agent here, open for questions. I love it. So, guys, this is a
this with
sign.
me when I go to the coffee shop and I will sit down with my laptop and I'll be like, "Boop, there we go."
So, how many people approached you?
You'd actually be surprised. The last time that I used it, it was just a few weeks ago, actually. And I was down at a coffee shop and I had a couple of snowbirds that came and talked to me. They were interested in moving to the area. And they're like, oh, hey, this is like really cute. And I was like, thank you. And it just starts the conversation.
Yeah, yeah. I
And it's
think
like,
even having a fun t-shirt with some real estate quote on the
oh
back, on the front, it can, every little bit can help. Even the signs on a car, I think it is your job to let everyone know that you are in a real estate and you're here to help. So
yeah.
everything, any possible conversation can be in under the networking umbrella,
Oh,
right? At the
absolutely.
end.
I have been known to eavesdrop on conversations, like in restaurants and stuff. There was a guy in Las Vegas, and he was actually looking for a house in Los Angeles.
Uh-huh.
And he was talking about like Discovery Channel and stuff, and so I kind of gathered that he was also involved in like making television and stuff too. So I was
Oh,
like, oh, hi. I wished him luck on his pitch because he was pitching something big to the Discovery Channel. But then I was like, if you need a real estate agent in Los Angeles, if you need a place to stay, hit up my friend Tristan.
uh,
And I actually did send, Tristan from Lab Coat Agents a couple of referrals
yeah.
in the past few years. So you never know when you're gonna have it. It could be in the grocery store, it could be, at the post office,
Yes.
anywhere.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
just
And
listen.
yeah, peer-to-peer is extremely powerful because so many people are moving in the USA. It's constant.
But
So, and
with that,
that also shows a love. I like
yeah,
that.
but with that whole buyer broker agreement now, networking is going to be so much more important because if you're moving across country, you want somebody that you can trust.
Yeah.
How are you going to know somebody in an area that you've never been before? I've never lived in Florida before. I didn't know where I wanted to be. I didn't have somebody telling me. And thankfully, I did have that network. But if I was on my own, like I there are New Yorkers that are constantly coming down. We have so many people moving in and they don't know the first thing. They don't know an agent. But if you have somebody in your hometown that does a lot of networking, that is involved with groups like Rockstars,
Yeah. Yeah.
you can refer them to an agent that has the same value proposition that you do. Somebody that will take care of your clients the way that you would take care of clients. And I'm always very, very careful with that too. It's like I will reach out for referrals and I'll say, hey, anybody in such and such a place. And you can have hundreds of people in a location because there's hundreds of thousands of realtors across the world and across the US. And we you want to interview them. You want to build a connection with another realtor because you just don't want to interview somebody and say, okay, here's this client, go have fun.
Yeah.
You want to make sure because you're getting a referral fee, you're going to get paid too. So you want to make
On the good
sure.
end, it can also have the bad end when everything goes wrong, right? And then your
Yeah,
name is in jeopardy because you referred them.
yeah,
So doing the background check is very important. I agree with you.
yeah. Have conversations and make those connections. That is the biggest thing. And it's like almost like a whole spider web where it's like you have crisscrossing things and you just want to make sure that everybody It's like, come on, I know the best people. And so it's like, if you are a trusted resource and you have somebody that you can, like, I have a client that wants to move to California, say, I have somebody in California. I
Yeah.
have somebody in Colorado. I have somebody in New York, New Jersey. I know people in different areas
Yeah.
all over the country. Heck, I even know a realtor in South Africa.
Oh, there you go. And that all of this can happen through the conferences or the Facebook group communities, right? Where you create relationships through
Yeah,
that networking. Yeah.
it's a very people person kind of oriented kind of thing. It's not for the lighthearted. It's sometimes you just got to strap on that armor and you just got to be like, okay, this is how it has to be. So let's do that. But it's the networking thing that is, especially with this buyer broker agreement, it's all about trust. And they have to have that, the buyer has to have that trust in you
Hmm.
before we even go out.
Yeah. And sharing the reality of what's happening in the real estate and how the law has changed or might change again the next week, and to keep the buyer updated, I think that is extremely important. And that also positions you higher because you're someone who is trustworthy,
Mhm.
honest, and is playing by the book,
Oh
because
yeah.
that's important, right? Because at the end that protects the buyer as well.
Mhm.
The
Very
deal
much.
deal can go wrong. You've seen it, right?
Oh yeah. No, if I recommend, like, even like if I recommend a contractor to somebody, if that contractor does a bad job,
Mhm.
it reflects poorly on me. It's like I like to know things. Like if I have somebody that has to have work on their house done, they contact me and they say, "Hey, do you have a good contractor?"
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a list. I keep a list of like several. I don't give them just one. But if it's like a close friend of mine, I'm like, okay, this person I really, really trust. And
Yeah.
if that person that I really, really trust screws up, it's gonna come
Ouch.
back on me.
Yeah, and the person goes out of your list. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I regarding to that, I like to recommend, let's say two, three, and just give a disclaimer that these are the three I like to recommend. And then I always add, it's a contractor, so they are busy doing the work and sometimes they might not respond back, but just, here are the people.
Reach out and encourage. We have to encourage our clients also, it's not just like one or two agents in, if I'm referring to somebody in Virginia, I'm going to be like, okay, here's a couple of agents.
Yeah.
I've worked personally with this one. I know them very well. I think they would be a good fit, but I want you to do your own research and make sure it's a good fit for you.
Yeah,
Because somebody that works that I feel comfortable with, somebody else might not feel comfortable with.
that is true. That is true. And giving a choice, I think it's good. It makes the people feel that they have some level of decision making and having things under control. Yeah. Because there are a lot of things we don't have under control, right? And we just have to
After.
follow. Yeah. Yeah. Well, before we'll end, oh my gosh, the time is up again. But before
Oh,
we end our chat, just how long will be your boot camp you're putting together? How many weeks you think?
so the boot camp is it is actually I'm tweaking stuff as I'm going. I'm a perfectionist, so never quite that. But right now I'm looking at least 4 weeks. There
Okay.
might possibly be five. It just depends
Okay.
on, whether or not I want to throw in a little bit more about the whole buyer broker agreement and everything. I have been watching very, very closely and I've been studying with my broker and everything and asking questions, and there's so many changes. I just want to be able to prepare everybody else. And, I'm not a lawyer, stuff changes, but I think the customer service aspect of it and being able to communicate the changes to the buyer and being able to communicate our value as buyer's agents because there's a lot of us out there. We
Yeah.
can't all be like listing agents, you know? So it's going to be interesting. But the boot camp right now, we are looking at 4 weeks. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to go really in depth. The blueprint webinar, I'm calling it the buyer blueprint because it's just like kind of like an overview, which is the free webinar. That one is going to it's going to give you a taste of what's we're going to go into in the boot camp. And it's going to be very light, very fun. You know, I want to have a lot of fun with this because it's like, can't be strict about it. I'm not that kind of teacher. I'm not. I want to make sure that people realize that they can do their own thing. They just have to take it and they got to make it their own.
Be themselves, be themselves. Yes, not to impersonate you. That'd be funny.
I haven't gotten that internet famous yet. So who knows? Maybe after this boot camp.
And what do you think, who is the ideal student for this boot camp?
Honestly, I think anybody that wants to kind of up their game, you know,
Okay.
as far as working with buyers is
Yeah.
concerned, you know, because it is an acquired taste. I have, you know, one of my best friends is Jim Steele,
Yeah.
who is, you know, part of our Rockstars community and everything. And he does not like working with buyers. I won't say he won't work with buyers, but he
I know
doesn't
that.
like working with buyers. And, you know, I love him and I'm like, just send them to me. I'll deal with them. Bring them to me. And because I love working with buyers. It's a dopamine hit for me. But yeah, I think
I have
anybody.
friends, agents just like you. Some of them are only solo listing agents, and some of them are buyers agents. And I think that they would probably say that it's the dopamine, it's the shiny new object, it's
Yes.
the hunt, you know, finding the right place. So there is something very, very cute about it. Yeah. But at the end, you need to make living, right?
Yeah, that's the big thing. And I think this boot camp and my webinar, it's gonna help people get on top of their buyer game. It's going to, you know, kind of point you in the right direction as how you can like go that extra mile, which, you know, you have to personally go that extra mile too. But there will be a lot of stuff in there that I will talk about, you know, that I share with my clients, that I, you know, go out and I go above and beyond. And you'll have to come and see it. You'll have to come and see it. Oh my goodness, is that Bianca?
Show you. Wait. Now we have to show and tell. Okay, guys. I have relocated. Oh, come on, stop it. I have relocated my dog, Bianca. It's just beheaded Bianca. Bianca, say hi to the camera. And now he's guarding the warehouse and office. So you so good for the entire time, but okay. Now you at least see that what we are recording is a real deal, and sometimes things happen, just like in a real estate, right, Jess?
Yes, it's never a dull moment. Never a dull
Never a
moment.
dull moment, you know. And guys, if you have any questions regarding Jess's upcoming buyers webinar and a boot camp, please let us know. We will post underneath this video also the information about the webinar and everything else. And what else is there, Jess?
Well, you know, I was actually going to say, hey, if anybody has any, you know, good tips or tricks to working with buyers also,
Yeah.
you know, hey, send them over. I'm always up for learning new things and everything. And, you know, I'm going to share my secrets. So now my office is getting loud. I don't know who that was though, but yeah, let's do our best. Let's, you know, just get out there and do our best and try and show our value. And, you know, people are very much under the impression that this is easy, and it's not.
It's a full-time job. It's a full-time job, and
It
we
is.
need to do our best and elevate the industry every single day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't need a psychology degree or anything to be
You'll
empathetic.
get it. You'll get it over the years. So.
Yeah. They should automatically give me a doctorate in psychology just for working with buyers, because this is like a first for Rockstars too, because
Yep.
it's very much, it's listings, leads, listings, commissions. And now it's going to be leads, listings, and buyers and
And
commissions.
you know what? Once again, we need buyers as much as we need sellers because they need each other and we need to
Yep.
bring them together. So
Mhm.
let's do this. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your tips and tips about networking. Guys, I apologize about Bianca, but oh well, she's my third child living with me now, and you might see more of her. Just thank you again, and I'm looking forward to see you during your webinar. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Bye.